year is getting going here?
Honestly, everything. Being able to have 12 able bodies out there is music to my ears. I know it's music to those guys' ears. The excitement of having returners, so you're not reteaching. So now it's like in the summer we develop a lot of stuff, and there was carryover from the year, which we haven't never had. And so now it's like you're able to build on stuff with multiple guys, and that was a good thing. Being able to add some size, some length, some athleticism, getting older in the portal was big for us, and then also being able to not only get older, but get older with guys that have multiple years was huge. So a lot to be positive about, a lot to be excited about, and just really looking forward to continue the developmental process here in October.
Ben, can you talk about the pieces that you have? I know you've had this group of guys pretty much all summer, and then now in the fall. Like, we know they're healthy, we know that you have more depth, but like individually, like how do these guys like fit together?
Really good. I think we were pretty strategic in the pieces that we needed to add. Obviously Cam, we recruited out of high school, but as far as the transfers go, we knew we needed to find some depth in the front court and some size. We knew we wanted to get a little bit older on the perimeter with some more experience, so we're able to do that. And then the pieces and how they play, we knew what you had coming back, whereas the last couple of years when you're adding 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces, you don't know exactly how those pieces fit when they get to your campus. But because these guys run our system, we knew exactly what they could do. So it's a lot easier to know what you need to get when you know what you got coming back. And I think we did a really good job of, finding pieces that complement each other. And again, it's always good to add experience.
Is it easier in this day and age with all the summer workouts that you can do? I mean, yeah, it's the first day of practice, but there aren't going to be many surprises when you get to the first day of practice anymore.
No, there's not.
Because of the summer. So does that kind of negate the transfer portal and that you can get a team put together because you got so much more time with them now?
Yeah, no, not only that, you got the summer, and then you get 4 hours a week in early September. And so, yeah, that is huge. I think that 8 weeks, you know what you're getting because you're able to compete. You're able to be around these guys a lot. And so, again, to your point, there's really no surprises. Now it's more about can we build on the momentum that we had in the summer and carry us into September, October.
Then we saw Pharrell kind of come into his own later on in the year and assert himself more. What do you want to see from him in year 2 here?
Consistency. I think that's the biggest thing. We talked a lot to those guys last year about they have no idea how much it's going to benefit them as sophomores, what they went through. And again, it sucked for everybody. But the experience they got, and especially for him, I would tell him all the time, it's not going to get any harder ever again than it was this year. You're a freshman, there's anxiety of not knowing what's coming on the road, at home, and then you multiply that by the bigs he went up against. Well, now all that's taken away. You've proven that you belong. And so now it's about, okay, now that you've proven you belong, let's be consistent with your work, consistent with production, offensively, defensively, rebounding, physicality. And then I think you notice with those 3 sophomores now, the maturity and the confidence is there because of what they went through. You're able to fall back on that. You know what I mean? And that's you can't teach that, you can't coach that. You have to experience that. And I've just noticed these guys throughout the summer, just the way they've carried themselves around here. It's like they're upperclassmen.
Braden hasn't played as much, but now that he's healthy, like what are some of the things that you saw maybe when he first started playing last year that you're seeing more now?
It's the same thing we saw in high school. He knows how to play, and you know what you're going to get on both sides of the ball. There's no surprises. I think most coaches will tell you kind of the scariest thing is if a player surprises you with stuff that you've never seen him do that he'll do. But with Braden, I know exactly what I'm going to get on both sides of the ball, and it's like Pharrell. Now can you be consistent at a high level? He's done a great job with his body in the weight room, and to his benefit, it's really hard when you're banged up and you know your body isn't 100%. It is the most frustrating thing in the world. Well, now that he knows he's 100% and he feels good, there's confidence with that. Right. And so now he's just playing, and he's picked up right where he left off and had a really good summer. And so we're excited about where he's at.
How about having Isaiah and Parker back healthy and on the court again?
It's great. I mean, knock on wood. I'm just kidding. No, it's great. It's great. I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago. It was the first time in 2 years we've had a full team, and the first time to be able to see those guys go 5-on-5. And you look at it and you watch. You're like, man, we were missing this for the first 2 years. And so it's good to have that back. You got physicality. You got two guys that know how to play. You can't put a price tag on that are older, experienced, and they're hungrier than ever. I mean, when you sit for 2 years and you watch, you better be hungry, and they are. And I think it's just elevated practice and what we've been able to do.
Do you sense that mentally they trust their recoveries?
Yeah,
or
100%.
will it take time to?
Yeah, we were, and to their credit, I told them I don't want them back until they get to that point, because the injury is one thing. It is that mental piece, and it's being able to mentally say and trust your body, trust the falls, trust the cuts. And I didn't want them anywhere near back until they knew. Hey, whenever your timetable is when you feel like you're good, come on back. And ever since they've been back, it's been full steam ahead.
A lot of Parker's game is athleticism. Do you see that he, is it slow coming back, or has he got the lift that you want to see and other stuff?
Yeah, no, he's actually been pretty good. He had a couple of dunks yesterday. Getting that pop back, I think it's always good. Like, anybody's going to be a work in progress once you get used to playing 5-on-5 with conditioning. But I mean, you can see it, and you can just see he's got a nose for the ball. But he really understands how to play, as an older guy should. And if you look at his numbers, I don't care what level you're at. I mean, the dude's won a lot, and it shows when we do competitive stuff with his teams, just finding ways to impact winning. Again, the more you can add that, it's kind of that seasoned vet, the better.
Is it more difficult to teach a kid to shoot, or to try to get a kid to learn how to create shots?
To shoot. You got to recruit it. You have to. I mean, I think that's that could single-handedly be the hardest thing, because there's the mental piece with it too. It's one thing to have good form and be able to technically shoot, but it's another thing to have the confidence to make shots and to hunt shots and to know when you're going to get shots. And so when you can find a guy that's a shooter that has all those covered, then that's special. But it's so hard to teach. And so we really try to recruit that, and at a high premium. And when you get it, especially at the 4 and the 5 spot, it can totally change your offense.
And is there a sense that this is the year that after 2 years of lumps, it's time to take a sizable leap here in year 3?
Yeah, I think every year you look at it with that kind of outlook. You want to do better than you did the previous year. I think the first 2 years I was good because I knew where we were at with what we had, if that makes sense. Again, there's no excuses. We want to win every single game that we play in, but at the same time, I knew what it was. Now this year, you feel like you're going with a loaded deck a little bit, from the standpoint of, you're not battling already 2 guys down, and that's a big thing. So now, yeah, we look at it like, with the players we have, the cohesion we have, the guys that got experience last year, the transfers that have experience because they played, the maturity of our young guys, that we got to focus in on day-to-day habits. And I think if we believe in that and we really make that a point of emphasis, that the wins will take care of themselves.
Ben, do you feel like new team, new year, you want to do anything different style-wise, offensive, defensively, system?
Yeah. No, I mean, and part of that is due to personnel. I think how you play is personnel-driven for the most part. Like, I could want to play a certain style, but if you don't have the guys that can do it, then it makes no sense. Well, now that we have depth, now that we have some athleticism and speed, we're going to be able to play faster. And as long as we can stay healthy, that's going to be the mantra on both sides of the ball. Be able to dictate more defensively, be able to pressure a little bit more, but offensively be able to get out and run. Now that you have a bench, you have depth, and there's not crazy drop-off at different spots, but there's veteran guys on the floor as starters, as backups, whatever you want to call it. It just gives you so much more versatility when you're playing. So, yeah, we're going to be able to be much more aggressive and dictate more. And I think it should be a fun team to watch.
You see right out of the gate, maybe the first few games, really trying to push it hard offensively and test just what.
Yeah, that's been a point of emphasis, and it will continue to be. I think we have the type of team that looks to play that way. I think they want to play that way, and so now it's up to us. We got to coach it, and teach it, and demand it. But we've got the personnel to do that. So, yeah, we'll look to get up and down much more, for sure.
Isn't that difficult, though, once you get to the Big Ten, they're so scouted? I mean, even if you want to, it just seems like, everything changes once you get there, and everybody knows so much about everybody.
And that's, you're 100% right. And that's the part, when you're coaching it, that's when the teaching comes into place. Like, guys got to know, like, all right, for every 10 times you sprint the floor, you might get it 2. But you got to keep going those other 8, you know what I mean? Especially as you get into league. And if you can steal 1, 2, 3 baskets a game in league, that could be the difference in a win and a loss. And so it's the mindset of, yeah, conference, you might not get 70, 80, but if you're getting high 60s continuously, and then all of a sudden you get a breakthrough 70 game, but the only way you get there is if you're doing those daily habits and you treat it the same, knowing that you're not going to get rewarded all the time, because our league is just, as you know, it's too good.
Ben, how do you see perimeter play for your team right now?
Good. You know, this is probably the most perimeter, like multiple ball handlers that we've had. Braden's done a really good job of kind of getting caught up with that, being more comfortable handling it. But with Cam, with Mike, with Elijah, you got 3 guys that are pretty good with playing in ball screens, pushing it. Dawson is a guy, you know, on a defensive rebound. I'm comfortable with him bringing it, so that's another ball handler. And like I said, Braden. And again, we work with our wings all the time. The more guys that you can get to rebound and push it, the better. That's kind of been a point of emphasis. But as far as our primary handlers, this is the most we've probably had in my 3 years here.
What about, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it right, Keeney? He's kind of a mystery man. What do we know about him, and what have you seen so far?
So Chris is a guy, you know, typical European in a good way, like just understands how to play, has a great feel for the game, can pass it, can shoot it, you know, legit size at 6'8", good athlete, sponge, you know, warrior, wants to be good. And him and KB are really cut from the same mold in Cam, where the young guys that know they don't have all the answers and just want to continue to get better and have that growth mindset and aren't afraid to compete. He really fits in well. You know, I'm excited about, you know, not only this year but in the future. It's just so hard to find guys with size like that can move but have the ability to shoot the basketball.
Going back to Braden, you're saying that he could play more point than maybe you thought when you recruited him, or?
Yeah, I don't know about point, but he can handle the ball.
Okay.
You know, so you know, whether it's in transition on the break,
sure,
whether that's playing in pick and roll in the half court, he's getting more and more comfortable just being kind of a secondary ball handler, and he's got to be able to not just be a catch and shoot guy, which I know. Again, he's really good at that, but can you put it on the floor and create offense for yourself and for others under control?
And Andy was asking about Pharrell, but like those 3 sophomores, Josh is kind of the one that gets lost a little bit, and he played the most out of the freshmen last year, 24 games or so. Like, what is the next step for him?
Same thing, consistency, and you don't get lost with me. I see that dude every day, and you talk about a guy that was committed this offseason. He's got a chance now to play the 4, but also slide to the perimeter and be a big wing and legitimately look and play and feel like a guy on the perimeter. So to his credit, he's worked tirelessly on decision making, playing slow, playing under control, you know, understanding being a thinker of the game. His shots improved a lot. And so Josh is a guy, I mean, he has tremendous upside, as you guys know. Like, the sky is truly the limit as long as he continues to work. And then, you know, his next challenge is to be defensively, you know, can you be a guy like a two-way guy? Can you be one of those hybrid guards that can guard multiple positions, that can cause havoc? And we're going to be able to move him around defensively and kind of utilize that versatility, which I'm really excited about.
And we've seen